participant section and make sure everybody gets in.
Okay, I've got the recording started so it shows up on my computer. Okay, welcome everyone. We are so happy that you have taken the time this morning to join us. We are here to help you grow your business through sales to local, state, and federal agencies. It is a way that people can grow their business. And helping me today is the staff of Apex Accelerator. But let me just go through some of the beginnings, and then we will turn it over to Peter and to Veronica. We are recording today's webinar, and you will receive an email from me with a link to that recording as well as the slides that are shown today. We have started the recording, and we do appreciate you making a conscious choice to join us today. I'm Jean Smith. I am the training coordinator here at the University of Houston-Victoria Small Business Development Center. Let's just talk about some things that'll make today go smoother for you. So as you are joining our event, please go ahead, put in the chat your first name, where you're coming to join us from, and what you're looking to get out of today's event. That really helps our presenters make sure the information they provide really meets your needs. Now, as I've said before, we are recording the webinar. I do want to point out the webinar should not be considered for legal or tax advice. We would like if you could use the Q&A for your questions. I know a lot of presenters are okay with them being in the chat, but it's a lot to kind of find, and we might miss your question in the chat. So please feel free to use that Q&A when you have a question for Peter or for Veronica. And as I said, use that chat to introduce yourself. I've introduced us a little bit, how to get find us. And then once Peter gets started, I'm going to include some information about how to find the Mar Apex Accelerator. I would like to note attendees are in listen-only mode with your mics and webcams muted. Now, if you are having audio issues, check your speakers and check your audio settings, and know that your internet connection can affect the quality of your sound. Our Small Business Development Center is part of the Texas South-West SBDC network. And as you see here, we have 10 field centers. Each of us is hosted by a university or community college, and we all cover a number of counties within our service area. We all are funded in part by the Small Business Administration and the state of Texas. So as you can see here, the network we belong to spans from El Paso to the Gulf Coast and south to the border. What you see listed are the 11 counties that are in our service area. Now, if you are not within our network or you're outside, I do have to reassure you that there are SBDCs across this country, and you can use that QR code to quickly find your SBDC, or you can go to americassbdc.org, and all you need to do is put in your zip code, and it will help you find your Small Business Development Center. So you are never far from small business assistance. And what do? We provide no-cost, confidential, client-driven services. So from startup to expansion to transition, the SBDC business advisors are available for the life cycle of your business. We encourage you to take full advantage of those services that the SBDC offers and sign up today if you are not a client already. By signing up, you will then have access to all kinds of assistance to build and grow your business, and we schedule time with you one-on-one with a business advisor. That time is dedicated to you, to your questions, and to your business. So you're going to get personalized confidential advice to help you develop your business, whether that involves a business plan, getting permits and licenses, expanding your business, getting ready for a loan. We do lots of things, not just what's on the screen here. In addition, we provide no cost and low cost trainings just like today's, and our clients have access to specialty resources within our network. So that means as a small business development center client, you can access any of these small specialty resources with your business advisor. And that is just a bonus that you can't put a price on, I will tell you that. And as I said before, you notice business advisors do not provide legal or tax advice. We do leave that to our lawyer and CPA friends. Now, Apex Accelerators are like small business development centers, and they can be found throughout the U.S. Here in Texas, you can find them at Del Mar College, University of Houston, at Abilene, at UT Arlington, at El Paso Community College, at UTSA, and at UT Rio Grande Valley. And the QR code that you see on the screen helps you find yours. Or you can go to www.apexaccelerators.us and it will walk you through finding the closest Apex Accelerator to provide you service. Joining us today are Peter Essington, a procurement specialist, and Veronica Renaud, who is the program coordinator with the Del Mar College Apex Accelerator. They are like we are, they are funded by the government, and they are funded by the Defense Logistics Agency. And they assist businesses interested in pursuing federal, state, or local government contracts. Again, confidential. The advising is at no charge, and they help with those registrations and certifications. They really work hard to help their clients become certified, whether they're selling local, or they're selling to a state agency, or they're selling to a federal agency. And even our agency, the University of Houston-Victoria, has goals where we aim to buy 20% of our goods and services through, these certified businesses. So they are just a bounty of information to help you build your business. And with that, I am going to stop sharing, and I'm going to turn it over to Peter Essington, our procurement specialist.
Thank you very much, Jean. I really appreciate that. That was very good information on the SBDC and the Apex Accelerator program. As Jean said, my name is Pete Essington. I'm with the Del Mar College Apex Accelerator program in Corpus Christi. And I want to thank you all for being on this course this morning. I hope it's beneficial. The purpose of this course is to assist businesses, new or established businesses that are considering government contracting, whether it's at the state, the local, the state, or the federal level. If you are already doing government contracting, you probably don't need this course, because what this is designed to do is to make you think about whether or not you want to move forward with government contracting. It's a very basic course designed to give you that information and an overview of government contracting with some specifics of what you can do with your business. Next slide, please. Our mission and values. Our mission is to serve as the access for existing and new businesses to strengthen the defense industrial base by accelerating innovation, fostering ingenuity, and establishing resilient and diverse supply chains. The government is looking for contractors, and they want more businesses to do government contracting, because a diverse and resilient domestic industrial base that can deliver preeminent solutions to the military and other government users. They want to get more businesses involved, and that is why they have the Apex Accelerator program. Next slide, please. The history of Apex. We used to be known as PTAC. Some people may you may be familiar with the term PTAC. It changed last year, about 14 months ago, to Apex. The national Apex or PTAC was started in 1986, and in 1996 it was started at Del Mar College. There are 97 programs nationwide and over 300 offices. And our office from Corpus Christi at Del Mar College, we service our 14 county area. Next slide. The services that we offer, that Gene touched upon this, as with the SBDC, we offer no cost confidential advising. The reason that we like to stress that is there are entities out there, people find them on the internet, that charge you for certifications, whether it's the Texas Hub or some of the federal certifications like a SAM registration. We do all of this at no charge. At the local, we can assist you at the local, the state, and the federal level. So I want to stress that it is we are taxpayer funded, and it does not cost you anything. Also, everything that we talk about is confidential. If you come in and visit with us about your business or your potential business, all of that advising is confidential. We will not share that with anybody. We assist businesses with certifications like the Texas Hub, which in the state of Texas is the certification that we promote the most, because it's probably your best value as far as your time and effort in getting a government, getting a certifications, because in the state of Texas, local and state governments are required to look for Hub certified vendors. So that is one thing that we can help you with. And rather than finding something on the internet that will charge you for that service, we do that for free. We have access to bid packages and weekly construction projects report, and access to government purchasing agent. Nothing secret, but we host events that will introduce you to government purchasing agents. And it's a very good way to network and to find out who these people are that are buying these products that you're selling. We also have a plan room for construction projects, which will print large size blueprints. And that is a service we offer our clients. And we also offer the training seminars such as this one that we'll talk about a little bit later about how to find other training seminars. And if we can move on. What we do is, or what we have, the economic impact that we have, in 2023, we had 336 new clients. We hosted 57 events such as this one and had 1,430 attendees. We were helpful in creating 6,771 jobs, and that economic impact was $338.5 million. We also provided 2,063 counseling hours for our clients. And so, as you can tell, it's quite an economic impact that we've had. And next slide. What we want to talk about today is, and the big picture, is government contracting right for my business? What is the GovCon landscape? What government contracting is and isn't? And what is the path to success? And how can Apex Accelerator help you with that? What we want to talk about, here are a few things we need to go over. Do you really want to do this? Think it through and be honest. Obviously, you can't know if you want to do it if you don't know anything about it, and that's what this course is for. think about what you want to do if you're starting a business or you have a new business or if you have an established business. If you need more direction with your business, that I would strongly urge you to take advantage of the resources provided by the SBDC in your area or SCORE. We have SCORE Corpus Christi, which can assist with questions and challenges that you're having with your business. Ask yourself, why do you want to sell to the government? Government contracting to some people sounds very attractive, to other people, maybe not so much. People have either think it's a great way to move forward with their business, or they don't want anything to do with it because they've heard how difficult it can be. And it depends on what somebody's experience is. It can be very, very good for your business, or it may be you may have run into somebody that doesn't want any part of it because they've had problems. That's why you want to know as much as you can before you head into it. You want to know what you want to have, know what your expectations are. What do you want from government contracting besides money? Is it a way to diversify your business? Is it a way to specialize in a certain product or service? Is it a way to move forward, to develop your business, to move your business to the next level? Those are all questions that you want to ask yourself as you move forward with government contracting. Where does government contracting fit into what you're doing now? Is it part of your business plan or part of your strategic plan? These are things that we want people to think about before they get into government contracting, just to see if you have a good understanding of what the landscape of government contracting is all about. So next slide. And is government contracting right for me and my business? Are you prepared for this journey? Ignorance is not bliss. We want you to go into it with your eyes wide open. You must do your homework and have a basic understanding of what it is. And it is okay if you don't have an understanding of it and you get involved with the Apex Accelerator in your area, to come in and talk to your counselor about, or your advisor about what it is and what it isn't. That's what we're here for. It doesn't cost you anything, but certainly the purpose of this course is for you to be able to get some answers to some of those questions, to at least think about if you want to start the journey. One of the things that we need to address is how long you have been in business. The reason this is important, if you're a startup business and you want to get in it just to do government contracting, that's fine, but you need to be aware that a lot of the government contracts want a proven track record. They want, I'll just, as for an example, some of the municipal contracts, City of Corpus Christi, they usually have a requirement that somebody's been in business for 3 years. And so if you're a brand new business, you just started it or you haven't started it yet, and you want to do business with the City of Corpus Christi, that's the first thing you've got to confront, is whether or not you're even going to qualify, because they're looking for somebody with a proven record of success in providing services. How much experience do you have? Government, commercial, or industrial? It depends on what your business is. If you may have an employee that has experience doing government contracting, if that is, and that has given you the idea that you want to move forward with it. If that's the case, that's tremendous. That is a scenario that does come up where somebody has not thought about it, but they have an employee that has worked for a company that does government contracting, and they see the potential for a new market. The other thing is the size, scope, and scale. Can you handle it? Be realistic about what your capabilities are. And just to give you an example, the geographic area of where you want to perform your services or provide services. With the state of Texas, you can, if you want to be a hub vendor, you can certainly do that, but you can narrow the size of or the scope of where you're going to perform those services and by geographic area. Sometimes people aren't realistic. They think, well, you know what, I'll get the business, I'll get the contract, and I'll worry about it later. Well, that doesn't necessarily work out well. There have been cases where people have based in South Texas and they bid on contracts in Lubbock, and they end up getting the business, and suddenly, and they've always thought, well, I'll just cross that bridge when I get to it. Well, they've gotten to there and they realize they can't do they can't provide the service as they thought they could, or it's going to cost them a lot more money to get the resources together to provide that. So that's what we ask people to do, is be realistic about your capabilities as well as your expectations. And the next slide. And what are you getting into? In this, we want to talk about patience, persistence, and flexibility. Patience, this is different than selling to a customer or selling to another business. You have to be patient because there is a process. There's a certain process that you have to go through, whether it's reading through the contracts and looking at every word of every sentence of a 50-60 page contract, understanding the contract, and if you don't understand it, getting the assistance you need to understand it, whether that's assistance from us or from the SBDC. The persistence part comes in that you may bid on several contracts or quite a few before you ever get awarded one, because it's a learning process. I try to advise people that the time they spend looking at the contracts and bidding on the contracts and going through the process is an investment of their time in their business. That's an investment that they're making in their business to try to get that first contract. And that ties into the flexibility. If you are, you need to be flexible in looking at these things. Sometimes things don't work out exactly the way we want them, and certainly government contracting's no different. We advise people to start with local agencies and then move on to state or federal contracting. There are no shortcuts and no hacks. I wish we could tell you a shortcut that would make it quick and easy, but there aren't any. It's hard work. It's hard work to get started, and but at some point, but most of our clients are not afraid of hard work. That's not the problem. They just want to know what it looks like and how they need forward and what the best way forward is. The reason we start with local agencies is they're generally the I don't want to call them simple or easy, but they're they are the less complicated than some of the state or federal contracts. If you have goods and services that will be used by a local agency, that's a very good place to start, because that's a good introduction to the government contracting world. The past performance is critical. We advise people to start small and work up to bigger jobs, which is common sense. It's something you may want to get started with, dip your toe in the water, see how you like it. And certainly starting small is a smart way to go and work up. Now, subcontracting is very important because there are a lot of general contractors looking for hub certified subcontractors, and you can use that subcontracting experience as credit or as experience in government contracting when you go off to do your own contracting. It's a very good way to get started, and a lot of our clients get started as subcontractors in government contracting. It's not a walk in the park. It can be overwhelming and daunting. A lot of times clients will look at the requirements for some of these. It's not uncommon to look at a city of Corpus Christi contract and be overwhelmed and think, well, this is overwhelming. I can't comply with all that. Well, what I tell people is, if you think this is overwhelming, you probably don't want to move forward, because this is probably the easiest contract you're ever going to see in government contracting. There are a lot of rules. It's a rules-driven process. One thing that people need to understand is these government employees they're paid to follow the rules. It's different than a business buyer or a consumer, who has leeway in who they buy from. They may buy from somebody because they just think that person's going to do a better job. If you hire a contractor to do work on your house, a lot of what you do ends up being who you feel best about. It's not that way with government contracting. They're going to have a long list of rules, and they're going to select whoever meets the criteria for that contract. The other thing that's important to keep in mind is the customer versus the end user may not be the same person. The person at the Corpus Christi Army Depot here in town that wants a certain product, they may not be the person who's making the decision on who that product is purchased from. It may be a buyer in Washington, D.C. or in another state. In fact, that's usually the case. So you have to understand the difference between the customer and the end user. Next slide, please. The other thing to keep in mind is the changes happen regularly, and you need to get used to it. And most people in business are used to a lot of change. Government contracting is no different. They will change their programs. They will have new rules. They will publish and publicize these changes. But unless you really know where to look, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with everything. And at the end, I'm going to look at a couple things on our website to show you. There's a huge amount of government programs, government agencies at the state, at the local and the federal level. And there's no way that you can keep up with all the changes on all the different agencies. So you have to be ready to know where to look and know where to find this information. You certainly don't want to lie, misrepresent, or cheat. That's a little blunt, but that it needs to be. You can't influence a process or call in favors. There are real consequences, such as fines and imprisonment, if you commit fraud or have a conflict of interest that is not disclosed. So be very aware going into this that you want to follow the rules and follow them as honestly and as completely as you can. The certifications can be helpful to your business, but it's good character is essential. And what we ask people to do is to look at the certifications and then start with the ones that are the most strategically beneficial to them. Okay, next slide. Now, what government contracting is not, it's not a quick way to make a buck. Some people get that impression. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet that tells people if you buy the course, we can, for a $500 course on YouTube, you can learn how to, become millionaire overnight by doing government contracting. Well, the old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, applies here. It's not simple, fast, and easy. This is not intended to discourage anybody. The purpose is to encourage people to know what it really is. It's not a way to save your business. If you have a failing business, it is not a way to save your business by suddenly doing government contracting. It's also not a whirlwind decision. It is not something that should be taken lightly. Obviously, with what's involved, you need to be very sure that it's a deliberate choice and a very strategic play for your business. You want to research. There's an awful lot of research involved in investigation. You have to look into these things before you get into it. Some of you may already have done this, but some of you may not have. And I'm going to show you just a couple of areas on our website where you can go in to look at this information. Next slide. As we talked about before, it's different than business to consumer or business to business. It has different characteristics that are peculiar to government contracting. There are very strict rules that we've talked about in the contracting process. If you're not good at following rules, it's probably not a good fit for you. If you have the temperament to look at the contracts, to understand the contracts, and then when it comes into the work, to perform the work as the contract requires, and not try to take shortcuts, this can be something that you would excel at. An example that I give is at the Corpus Christi Army Depot several years ago. There was a contractor that was installing some large refrigeration units, and he was supposed to contact the inspector at various times during the process so that the inspector could review what was done, to sign off on everything. And the contractor went ahead and did some of the work because he had his people there, and it didn't make sense to stop and wait for this guy to show up. Even though the inspector had assured him he could be there within 15, 20 minutes of getting a phone call, he went ahead and did the work. And when the inspector came and saw what had happened, he told the guy to tear out his work so he could inspect it. And the guy thought that made no sense at all, but it does make sense from the standpoint of the government employee. They're not about to risk their job because it was easier for a contractor to do it that way. So the point of that story is if you understand and can follow the rules laid out in the contract, it can be a good fit for you. If you are frustrated doing that, then it might not be something you want to consider. That's why it's different than a regular business to business or business to consumer relationship. They want things done a certain way, and you need to conform to how they want it done. It's ideal and best suited if you already have a positive cash flow, existing active customer base, and you want to grow and diversify your business. We talked about that before. We look at this as if you have an established business, this is a very good way to diversify your business. If there's an economic downturn, it's a good way to get into it ahead of time. So when there is an economic downturn or you have the opportunity to do that government contract, you can move forward with it. It's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It can take somebody several years of bidding on contracts before it actually pays off for them. That's not unusual. Again, this is not meant to discourage anybody, but simply to highlight the the fact that sometimes you may bid on several contracts or a lot of contracts before you actually get one. And as I said before, we advise people to look at the bidding process and the contract review as a learning experience, as an investment of your time to increase your knowledge of the process. The government is risk averse. You may think that so are businesses and so are individuals, and that's true, but government is more risk averse than businesses or individuals, in that a business or an individual, again, back to the example of the contractor doing work on your house, as an individual homeowner, you have the right, or you have the ability to pick a contractor based on your best judgment. With government contracting, they don't have that same flexibility. And the reason is they have set up rules to make sure that there is not a bad outcome from the contractor that they hire. They want to make sure it's somebody with an established record, resources to do the job, and the capability to do the job. And that the process is put in place to make sure that those things happen for the government customer. Next slide. Again, we talk about this as a learning process. Learn from your mistakes. Unfortunately, like anything else worthwhile, you can expect to get bumps, cuts, and bruises. We stress that the process of bidding on these, if you bid on something and you don't get the business, look at that as an investment of your time to increase your knowledge. It is a long, rules-driven process mandated by law. The CFR and the FAR, those are federal regulations for how these contracts are awarded. They address public purchasing. It's heavily regulated to ensure the responsible use and stewardship of taxpayer dollars. It is also meant to create a level playing field. I think some of our clients sometimes look at this and they think, what is the purpose of all this? Why do they have all of this? And it really is meant to create a level playing field so everybody has a chance for this type of business, that it's not given to somebody because of who they are or who they know. It is intended to make it a fair process and create a level playing field to where all businesses can compete for this business. And I think they do a good job of that. It's best to have a plan your work and work your plan. Part of this is, what's very important is think about who your government customer is. Is it the city where you live? Is it the city of Corpus Christi? Is it the county where you live? Is it a small outlying community? You can look at their websites to see what they have, what they're spending their money on. Or is your service, are you set up more for a federal job? One thing that comes to mind, this is just one of many, is FEMA, disaster recovery. Can you haul debris? Do you have a trucking company? Do you have a way to provide goods and services within a disaster area? Do you have trucks and personnel that can haul water and ice and other equipment into a disaster area? That's why we stress to people, think about who your customer is and then target them. And also be aware going into it. That's the purpose of this course. Be aware going into it. What is the process? If you want to do disaster recovery, FEMA has a link on their website that has very good information, but you need to start about at least 6 months ahead of time to get everything done before a disaster strikes, because that's how long it's going to take to get certified to do work with FEMA. It's also rife with scammers. Be very careful of what you click on, what you fall for, what you pay for. Apex Accelerators will do this work for the will do the same thing, and our services are free. The only thing that it costs with us is there's a state list that's a certified master bidders list. It costs $70 a year. But that's the only thing. Everything else that and you don't have to do that. That's entirely optional, whether or not you want to sign up to that. We think it's very beneficial, but that's the only thing that we do. All of our advice, all of our counseling is free of charge. Next slide. Again, your path to success will be do homework and research. You need to think about what agency you want to pursue, who your customer is, who buys what, how much and how often, what are the laws and rules and thresholds, and who are your competitors and the prime contractors. Don't focus on selling. Instead, be the partner with the government purchaser, add value, solve their problems to alleviate their pain points. How can you assist them to move forward with what they need? And next slide. You will win work if you start locally with smaller jobs. You can bundle together local jobs to show you can handle larger state or federal work. Essential to maintain a good performance record. One bad job will ruin you with government contracting, because that will haunt you. So you need to make sure when you bid on something that what you're bidding on, you're able to perform the goods and services and in the quantity that they want and in the geographic area. You don't want to wing it and then end up not being able to fulfill a contract, because that will ruin you in government contracting. Be able to qualify, be able to pay for insurance and bonding. The time to look into insurance and bonding is when you are looking at these contracts or before you get started. Don't bid on a contract and then realize that you need another insurance policy that you didn't quite understand, and it's going to cost you $10,000. That's not the way you want to do this. You want to look at the insurance and bonding requirements right away, so you know what that cost is, and be in it to win it. You will want to throw in the towel and quit. Not everybody, but some people will. A lot of people will get discouraged and not want to move forward. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to make sure that you're realistic about how to move forward and what the best way to move forward is for your business. And the next slide. How Apex Accelerators can help you. We procurement specialists. We're not experts in everything. There's no way we can be. We can't know everything about what every government agency wants. We are generalists. We can tell you some generalities on how to move forward, and then also work with you to help you figure it out. Again, we provide the no-cost confidential advising. And I would encourage everybody to take advantage of our services as they move forward. And next slide. This is our contact information, which you will get a copy of. Before we go any further, are there any questions anybody has that I can answer while we're... Is anybody?
I am not seeing any. Some of our folks do not have a QA function, and I'm not quite sure why that is. We did have a question about how to find their provider of services through Apex Accelerator, and we've put that in the chat. And yes, we are recording today's webinar, and you'll get a link to that recording, as well as a copy of the slides and information on how to contact not only Del Mar College Apex Accelerator, but if you're not near you, we'll include that link so that you can find your Apex Accelerator, because it is definitely a great way to grow your business. Okay, so we do have a question. So Sharita wants to know, so new businesses should wait 2 to 3 years before starting the process like certification?
No, not necessarily. If you have a new business, I would go ahead and get started in the certification process, especially at the federal level, because you will want to have all of that done ahead of time before you move forward. Also, the one caveat to that I would tell you is, if you're considering a change of your business structure, in other words, if you're a sole proprietor, when you want to change to an LLC in 3 months, wait to do your certifications till you have the business structured the way you want to, because you're going to go through a lot of work and you're going to have to redo everything once you change your business structure.
Okay, our next question says, if I am already federally certified, are you able to assist in getting locally certified? That's a great question.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
You can get certified depending on your area. We help people with City of Corpus Christi get registered as vendors every day. Very easy process.
Okay, and then you might want to bring up your website, because the next question is, how do we set up to meet with you in person? And I love your website.
Well, we're very proud of it. I spend a lot of time. Can you see our website here?
Sure can.
Okay.
Here is your mouse. Here's your mouse.
Oh, it's
There it is. Okay, good. You're here.
okay.
You're there.
Here's our website. If you want to become a client, right here, I have it highlighted. Become an Apex Accelerator client. You would click on that, fill out the information, and we will assist you to move forward. The other thing that is listed is our training seminars. I have that highlighted. You can click on that and move forward with any other training seminars that we have. The other thing I want to go over on our website is these links. We're very proud of this website, because if you click on local agency bid posting sites, and you don't have to be a client to do this, you just get on the Del Mar College Apex Accelerator website, you can go right into all of these different local links, and these are the correct links. These are the real links. They are not if you Google some of this information, you will get directed to a paid for site. That's not what this is. If you want to go to the City of Corpus Christi purchasing website, that's all you do is click on it and you're there. A couple of other things that are very important that I want to point out on the website: the codes. These are the NIGP codes. At the local and state level, they're going to go by NIGP codes. Before you do any registration, I would take some time researching these codes, and the way you would do that, you just click on that, and you can search the website to get your commodity code. That's how the government sees you, is by a code. They don't use keywords. They go through the codes. Just to try to confuse things a little bit, if you, at the federal level, they're going to use what's called a NICS code. So the federal and the state use different codes, but you can get to both of those by our website by looking up either the NICS code here on the federal level, or at the state level, the NIGP codes. I talked a little bit about FEMA earlier. Again, this is FEMA is right here. as with a lot of other federal resources, all of this is information that's on our website. And I would strongly urge you to look at this information and research, sit down and spend some time on that. So any other questions?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Okay. And this again is from Shweta. She would like to know, does it help if I am a new business, but my manufacturer from whom I am importing has a strong 25 plus years of experience and good financials? Do I have a chance to become a government contractor on the manufacturer's basis, even though I am just starting?
The answer to that is yes, you do have a chance. It would be dependent on the contract language. The one thing that has come up before is a franchisee the contract required 3 years experience. The franchisee was new in business, but the franchise had been around for quite a few years. And as they worked through that process, but it was a process where the business person had to get in touch with the people with the city, and they were able to work that out to where he could move forward because the franchise he was working under was very well established and had been in business for more than 3 years. I hope that answers your question. It's going to be dependent on what's in the contract.
Okay, and then we do have some people attending today who are not in our service area or provider area, and they'd like to know if there's anything on another Apex Accelerator website that, I'm sorry, I've got it reversed. They'd like to know if there's anything on on the Del Mar Apex Accelerator website that would not be on their local Apex Accelerator website.
It's very possible that we would have information that they don't have, or that they have information that we don't have.
But all these resource links that you have showing, they're open to anybody. Anybody can click on that and see what is under that. So,
correct.
You know, in doing your, you know, deciding if you're going to do this or not, it always is a good idea to make sure you've done as much research as you possibly can. So this absolutely is a source of research.
Right. And here's another example that's a very good question. And anybody can get on our website. You don't have to be an Apex client to get on our website. Let's say you're in Lubbock and you want to know if you qualify for the Texas Hub. I'm assuming you can still see my screen, Gene. You would just click on the Texas Hub program, and you can go in here and find out all the information you want about Texas Hub. And you can find out if you are who's eligible for Texas Hub. This is the Texas Hub website. This is all we're doing is providing a link to this information. And I hate to keep promoting our website, but it does have an awful lot of very good information. And these are the correct links. I clicked on eligible, and right here you would go down and it will give you the eligibility, who qualifies, and it gives you all the eligibility requirements right there.
And, you know, one thing I'd like to point out, because yes, a lot of this information is at your fingertips and you're doing your research on growing your business, and you've included this. But remember, one of the best things that Apex Accelerator provides is they're familiar with the applications. They are familiar with the documentation that a lot of these certifications require, and they can help you through that process. And believe you me, that is absolutely priceless, because when you start to look at these applications, you're going to be like, why are they asking, and why do they want to know this, and what do they want me to put in that blank? And the staff there, the procurement specialist, that's who helps you through that whole process. And we have another question. So this comes from Rurik, And the business is already State Hub certified, which is great. Do I need to seek DBE certification to increase the odds on the local agency's bid process?
Well, the DBE would be it depends on the agency that you want to do business with. The CCRTA is looking for DBE businesses. So if your target agency is CCRTA, it's important to know that they are wanting DBE businesses. So if it all depends, and your advisor can help you with that. That's going to be a specific question for depending on your business and which agency. There may be, if you wanted to do business with certain agencies, I'll just move it off of DBE because I don't want to tell you that nobody's looking for that. That's not my point. But if you want to do work for the federal government and you're not interested in doing work for the state of Texas, then a Texas Hub would do you no good. So, but DBE, anything that would have to do with transportation or the CCRTA, the DBE is important.
Okay. Our next question is, are there things that Apex Accelerator does charge for?
The only thing is the $70 a year for the CMBL list, but that is a fee that goes to the state. There's a charge for the blueprints after a certain number. I don't have the exact fee schedule, but it's $1 a page or $1.50. I'm not sure what it is. But that's really any of the advising services that we offer are completely free of charge. You're not going to get a bill from us for anything. If you sign up with the Del Mar College Apex and you come in and talk to somebody for 2 hours, you're not going to get a bill for our services.
Okay. And the person that asked that question, they just note that there is a difference in abilities and capabilities listed on some of the other Apex Accelerator websites. They're located in Hayes County, so I'm not sure who provides service for them. But I think most of the basics in terms of services and that, they're the same from accelerator to accelerator.
That is my understanding, yes. But what specifically they might charge for, if there's something that's different than Mars, I can't speak to that.
Right. And the other thing is, Kimberly, I'll include Pete and Veronica's contact information. And then if you can, if you have further questions, you certainly can contact him, give him a call. Coach, Coach, I'll tell you, I'm from originally from Maryland as well. So I appreciate your questions. And he'd like to know, can you explain what hub means?
Yes,
and that's great.
I hate it when we use all these acronyms and we get so used to it. Hub means historically underutilized business. Hub.
And I do believe almost every state has some type of program encouraging state, local agencies to support and purchase from those hub certified businesses. It probably just has a different name in your state. So
very possible. The other thing this is a good point I try to make in my class. The Texas Hub, historically underutilized business. You have to keep these things straight because also on the federal level, there's a hub zone program, which is completely different, and it's based on your address, your geographic location. But the two have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Yes, yes, you're right. That hub zone program. Okay, what I've done is I have brought up our ending slide. If you have a smartphone and you want to take our webinar survey and let us know how we've done today, that would be great. You just hold it up to that QR code and away you go. If you need to get a hold of us, I've put that contact information in here. We do try to be really responsive to people's inquiries. As I said before, we are recording today's presentation, and you will get a link to the recording. Veronica has already sent me the slide. Let me try this again. Somebody says they can't see it. And this should be what you see. And it's a drawback here. I can't exactly see what you all see. I'm so sorry. It should be right here. If you see my little pink mouse, there you go. If you want to look at our website, that information is there. If you want to see us on Facebook, and in my email, I will also include contact information in case you have further questions for Peter or for Veronica, because we certainly welcome them. We have one last question, Pete, and that
Okay.
is, do you need to be a resident or a citizen to be registered? And I think that means actually certified as a business.
On Texas Hub, yes, you do need to be a Texas resident and a U.S. citizen. You can
And
be
what
a
about on the-
naturalized citizen, but you need to be a citizen.
And what about on the federal side?
It's going to depend on the specific program. I couldn't answer it a blanket statement on that. You'd have to be a citizen or whatever. I think you could certainly register a business through SAM and not be a citizen. That would certainly be possible. You just have to read through the specific requirements.
Yes, and that's where Apex Accelerator comes in and is so helpful. Well, I want to thank everyone for being with us today and making that choice to be here. I want to thank Pete and Veronica for joining us and providing all the information. I know it can be overwhelming, but both Apex Accelerator and the Small Business Development Center are here to help you grow your business through whatever way you, the business owner and entrepreneur, want to grow. So we are so happy you've been here. Please take our survey. If you miss it today, I will send the link in the email. And with that, we will see everyone at our next webinar. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.